Hey guys, this is your Thursday math video. We're going over lessons 114 and 115. And it is kind of a review of some things we've done on the math dailies. Today is changing improper fractions to whole or mixed numbers. And so it just explains to you what an improper fraction is. So let's just review that. If the top number, the numerator of a fraction, is as large or larger than the bottom number, the fraction is an improper fraction. All of these fractions are improper fractions. 12 is greater than 4, 10 is greater than 3, 9 is greater than 4, 3 is greater than 2, and 5 is equal to 5. And we know, we just talked about in the last lesson, 5/5 would be the same as 1 whole. So that's how you would make that one proper. To write an improper fraction as a mixed number, you first need to find out how many wholes the number has. And so to do that, you divide. And we talked about how this is a division problem when you write it that way. The division will tell us how many wholes we have, and the remainder is the numerator of the fraction in the mixed number. So for example, write 13/5 as a mixed number, and then it tells you to draw a picture. So to find the number of wholes, we divide. So we do 13 divided by 5, 13 divided by 5. 5 fits into 13 two times. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract 13 minus 10 is 3. And so that would be our remainder. If you were writing it up here, it would be 2R3. So this division tells us that 13/5 equals 2 wholes with 3/5 left over. So you basically are putting your remainder over your divisor here. So 2 3/5, like that, or 2 3/5. So that's what it would look like when you write it out. And then they drew the picture for you, 2 whole sets of 5, and then 3/5 of another set. So 13/5, because this is 5, 10, 11, 12, 13/5 is the same as 2 3/5. So again, this is just kind of a review of what we've already done in math dailies. All right, example 2, write 10/3 as a mixed number, then draw a picture. So first divide 10 divided by 3, 10 divided by 3. 3 fits into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9 with 1 left over. So you're going to have 3 and 1/3, 1 over 3. So you have 3 wholes and 1/3 left over. So we write it 3 and 1/3, and then the picture shows you 3 whole ones fit in there, 3 times 3, with the 1 left over is here, and you write it over this divisor, 3. 10/3 equals 3 and 1/3. Okay. Example 3, write 12/4 as a whole number. Then draw a picture. So first divide 12 divided by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12 with 0 left over. So it would just be 3 whole and no fraction left over. So you can see here they divided the 12 pieces, or divided the 12, the top number, into 4 pieces each. 4, 4, 4. And that took up all 12. And so it just makes 3 whole pizzas or pies or whatever you want to call those. Okay, so here's the practice. So if you're struggling with this, or if you felt like this was a little tricky and you just need a little extra practice, I would encourage you to do these 4 practice problems and just work on that. And then you're welcome to work on the problem set here, but if not, you can just skip on to problem set 115, and that will review. You know how sometimes in class we'll skip one day, one lesson, or one problem set. We don't skip the lesson usually, but I'll teach 2 lessons and we'll skip the first problem set. So you can skip 114 unless you and your parents decide that you really need to work on it. So I'm going to go on now to lesson 115. And this is dividing by 10. And we've really done this a lot on math dailies as well, but I just wanted to give you a chance to review. So here it just explains we have used a 4-step procedure to divide by 1-digit numbers, which is divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. We'll use the same procedure to divide by 2-digit numbers. In this lesson, we'll learn how to divide by 10. So once we see this, it'll help you when you're dividing by numbers larger than 10. I know a couple of times in class, like we've had to divide by 12 or by something else. And so this will just help you kind of get ready to do that. So here's the example, 432 divided by 10. 10 will not divide into 4, but will divide into 43 4 times. So the main difference is you just have to be careful to write the number here. And we've sort of done that because we would just do like an invisible 0 there. So 10 won't fit into 4, but 10 will fit into 43. So we're just going to work with that part first. So we divide 43 by 10 and write 4. So they went ahead and wrote the 4 here above the 43, the end of the 43. Then you multiply 4 times 10 is 40. And then you subtract 43 minus 40 is 3. Then bring down the 2. And don't forget the little check step. 3 is less than 10. Bring down the 2. And then this makes 32. Now we say, well, 10 fits into 32 3 times. 3 times 10 is 30. And then we subtract 32 minus 30, is 2. I was trying to look at the page in the video at the same time. That's kind of hard. All right, so then we have 2 left over. There's nothing left to bring down. So we have a remainder of 2. And like we learned when we were working with fractions, another way to write this would be 2/10 or even decimal 2. So those are just other ways you can write remainder 2. Just to give you, just to help you connect those two things. And so this walks you through all the steps if you needed to look through that. And then here's just the practice where you would just do the same thing, and all of them are divided by 10. Now we know right here, if you have a 0 on both, you could cross out the 2 zeros, cross out 1 here and 1 here, and it's just the same as 1 divided by 72, which would be 72. And you can, when you work that out the long way, you'll be able to see that. And then the same thing here. If you cross out a 0 and 0, it'd be 1 divided by 38, which is 38. On the ones that don't have a 0, you wouldn't be able to do that, though. So now is problem set 115. If you are working this problem set, I would encourage you to do the word problems at least. And then if you just want to kind of pick a couple of these other ones, whichever things that you might want to practice, whether you want to do one of each, like 1 addition, 1 subtraction, 1 multiplication, 1 division, or just pick whatever you need to work on the most. Maybe you and your parents could decide what you need to work on. And then also there's a perimeter problem at the end. So I'm kind of leaving it up to you guys, but please ask your parents because they're kind of your second teacher right now. And I know some of them want you to keep working ahead just a little bit more in math. So if you're caught up with everything else, that would be a great way to spend these last few days. So as always, just let me know if you need any help or have any questions.